Dynamic GT League. La Coppa. Dell'Asino. Rampante. Dynamic GT League. La Coppa dell'Asino Rampante.
Hello everybody and welcome to Dynamic GT League's La Coppa Dell'Asino Rampante for the final race of the season, race 9 from Monza Grand Prix circuit. Quick look at the championship standings. Steve F1 has a 3-point gap over SGP and Demon R, meaning the title fight is on for this last race. Jason in 4th place, ahead of Fluffy in 5th, Dave the Harp in 6th, Bonsall 7th, Twilight 8th, Conrad in 9th, Ridge Blues in 10th, SRI 11th, Hay 12th, Formula Gary 13th, Jimmy 14th, Art Powell 15th, Mitch 16th and Tyler 17th. Plenty to play for still, the battle for 4th place, Jason and Fluffy. Dave the Harp may be able to catch Fluffy as well. Bunsell perhaps can't catch Dave the Harp, but the battle for 7th is definitely on. However, there are a few drivers missing today's race, unfortunately. So let's have a look at the result of qualifying. And more than likely, Steve F1 is going to be on pole position. Well, no, it's not. It's Demon R on pole position. With a 149.712.333 ahead of Steve F1, who does join him on the front row. Row 2 will see SGP line up alongside Conrad. Nice to see Conrad back. Twilight will line up in 5th place alongside Jason in 6th. And on row 4, we've got Dave the Harp in 7th place and Fluffy Planet in 8th. On row 5, we'll see SRI recovering from his illness, line up alongside Formula Gary in 10th place. And on row 6, we've got Jimmy in 11th and Rich Blues in 12th. As I mentioned, a few drivers unable to make the race today, but that is not going to change the fact that there is plenty to fight for out there on the racetrack, both at the top of the table and all the way through it. So here we go then. A champion will be decided. So let's hand over to our commentators. Actually, before we do that, let's have a quick look at some information which will help us throughout the course of this video. So as it stands and who needs what up at the top. A tie on points will result in a count back to most first places and most second places. So looking at it, we've got Steve F1 in first on 134 points. So for him to win, he needs to finish first or finish second with SGP third. Finish third with SGP and Demon R second or lower. Fourth, SGP, Demon R third or lower. 5th, SGP and Demon R third or lower. Finish 6th, SGP and Demon R 4th or lower. And if he finishes in 7th place, he'll need SGP and Demon R to be no more than 3 places ahead. For SGP though, he would need to win. He needs to beat Demon R and finish first, or beat Demon R, finish second, and Steve F1 be 4th or lower. Finish third with Steve F1 6th or lower. 4th, finish 8th or lower for Steve F1. Finish 5th, and Steve F1 9th or lower. Or if SGP finishes 6th, Steve F1 will be 10th or lower. Finish 7th with Steve F1 more than 3 places behind. All of those beating Demon R as well. For Demon R to win, he needs to beat SGP, and if he finishes first, he needs Steve F1 to be 3rd or lower. Finish second, Steve F1 4th or lower. Finish third, Steve F1 6th or lower. 4th, Steve F1 8th or lower. 5th, Steve F1 9th or lower. If he finishes 6th, Steve F1 10th or lower, and if he finishes 7th, Steve F1 more than 3 places behind. Also, quick notification that the ARC tyre wear settings have changed from times 17 down to times 12. Have a good one, everybody. Let's crack on. And joining us for the last race of the season in the commentary box, it's the reigning champion, Twilight. How are you, Twilight?
Yes, I'm not so bad. I'm really looking forward to this race today. So
go and get your car,
let's get into the action.
So go and get your car. They're away. They're off. Demon R's got a decent stuff. Fluffy's had a shocker. He's already pulled over. Has he given up already? Conrad looks like he's got a bit of a run on SGP. Demon R holds on to the lead by the looks of it as they make their way down to 2-1, but he's been hit by Steve F1. Wide he goes. Is he going to get reset? No, he's not.
Oh, he's so lucky there.
That he is. Conrad, though, got a run on him now.
Yeah, Conrad's been really quick round this track this season, so see how he goes today.
Aye, might have to call him Grande Conrad.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it was Steve F1 that directly. Got it! The crash.
Gary comes from nowhere. At least it's Twilight, the reigning champion.
Oh, no.
I bet he'd be absolutely fuming with that if we could get to speak to him.
Yeah, I mean, got that gold livery and it's just been punted. Yeah, I don't know if it was Steve F1 that hit Demon R at the start, whether Steve F1 was perhaps nudged by SGP. Either way, somehow they all survived. Fluffy's out wide into the gravel. We might see a few cars out there today, Twilight. John, as you're more commonly known. Well, you're more commonly known by a different name, but I've been told I'm not allowed to say that on air.
Yeah, people call me many of things, but you shouldn't really comment.
No, that is true. Okay, Pat Cam is on Jason at the moment. Got to say, this is it's a track that, interestingly, some people really hate this track and find it really boring. Me personally, I love this circuit because there's so many key factors to it. One of them being this final corner, because if you get a decent run through it, yeah, well, he has changed his name recently, but yes, he is still known by most of the Parabolica. Because if you get a decent exit out of it, you've got to run like Demon R has here. Steve F1's got one on SGP in the background as well. Demon R moving to the inside to take the lead. Going to have to break about 115 metres, I think it is, or is it 160 metres? Probably more likely 160 metres, but up the inside he goes. Conrad doesn't fight it, maybe looking for a switchback. No, Demon R's through and gone, and on the pack cam, Dave the Harp surviving just.
Yeah, he got a really good exit there, so you know,
well, he bleached
all
it.
counts on him. Round the curve of Grande, and can he get it, hold his position off going into the next chicane?
Yeah, you know, I've just realised I forgot to put my track map up. Oh, Conrad got very close to the back of Demon R there. Steve F1, nearly losing it. Has he lost it? Oh, he's just managed to survive. He's a lucky boy.
Yeah, it's so easy to do there.
It definitely is. I mean, it's the same with the second Lesmo that we're coming up to as well. It's very easy to just run a tiny bit wide like Fluffy did earlier, like Conrad has. Do that. Oh, he's still facing the right direction. Usually, people would end up in the wall doing that.
Yeah, then he normally catches someone else out, coming around the corner, and there's a car across the road, and that's it, race over, really.
Absolutely. Well, Grande Conrad found the wall, or missed the wall, you go for a pizza. I'm going to do it all the way throughout this commentary, you know. I might just have to do the whole thing. SGP, he's chasing the Conrad. It's probably the most offensive Italian accent.
Well, they're in Bradford now or something.
No, Leeds, mate.
Oh, okay.
You know, I actually had not many people will get this, but I actually had a dream. Was it night before last, that I was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that I was spending a bit of time with a lady friend of mine at Huddersfield football ground, watching Huddersfield get pumped by someone.
Was it Middlesbrough?
I don't think it was. No.
I think it might have been.
Oh well, I don't know if that happened in reality or not. I don't know. I just know why.
It possibly did.
I just know in my dream.
Oh, Twilight on the attack now, going past them.
Oh, who's that in the gravel? Is that Jimmy? I think.
I didn't see.
Yeah. I may. Yeah, you know what? I think it was Jimmy. You know, yeah, it was just ahead of where you were looking at Twilight, and yeah, Fluffy now attacking Twilight. Rich Blues on the inside. Yeah. Oh, tricky.
Can they get around here?
They can try,
and they do.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff there. I think he backed out a little bit. He's got a bit of a better exit out of that corner. He's attacking Twilight into the Lesmo one. Yeah, and he's got past him.
That he has. SRI's coming. Oh, he's having
he's shoving Twilight out wide there, I think.
Yeah, he's going to pull. Yeah, he's going to nudge him, push him out wide, dip him on the gravel.
No, he's...
Usually I'd say nearly gave him a gravel rash, but I so nearly said nearly gave him a granny rash. That's what sort of went through my mind for a split second. Conrad, though, is closing up on the back of Demon R at the moment. So this, again, for the fight for the lead of the race. So we'll get to talk about the championship.
Oh, I think he's bump drafting there. Bump drafting away.
That he... Well, why would he do... Well, is it teamwork or is it just strategic? Don't overtake into the final corner, overtake somewhere else.
Yeah, maybe SGP and F1 are trying to do the same to keep up to them, because they've pulled a little gap now on SGP and Steve F1.
That is true, but I tell the ladies that's a big gap. Conrad he's having a look up the inside. So yeah, I don't necessarily think it's teamwork they've been doing. Or Demon was trying to look for a switchback. Nice move by Connor there. I think Conrad was basically just not going for the move into the final corner, because if he does, chances are he's going to get repassed into turn 1, whereas if he makes the move into turn 1, he may be able to then fend off Demon R into the second chicane. I've not got the track map up, so I can't remember if it's the Dell'Asino. I don't think it is. I think it's the Acqua Minerale, isn't it? Come on, you were telling me that you'd drawn it and wrote the names down.
Reti della Regala or something. I can't even read my own writing.
Right, okay, I'll have to get my track map up now then. Also, if my audio, this is more for the viewers than anybody else, so if my audio does seem to sort of go up and down, it's because I'm turning around and I forget that I'm on a mic that doesn't follow my mouth. So it's the Variante della Roscia is what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're on about.
Is it? Twilight has been on go wide. Rich Blue's trying to make the move, and up the inside he goes. Rich having returned from Paris, so Rich should really be introduced this week as Rich Allez le Bleu. I'm on it.
And maybe that's why I said that corner was in French, so.
Well, I'm not sure. I think maybe one of Bunsel's horses might have understood what you said, but I really didn't. Demon R has not gone for a move on Connor on the back side of the track. He's going for it this time. Conrad going to the inside to defend. This is tricky. They both need to make sure they get the car slowed down. Side by side they go. And they're going into the corner side by side as well. Hamilton and Verstappen couldn't do it, but Demon R and Conrad can.
He's attacking him again.
Oh, that he is. So Conrad coming back at him, Demon R around the outs. Oh, this is fantastic stuff. Will we see them bang doors? Will we see them change mirrors? Thinking about it, last time we raced at Monza, Demon R did hit Conrad off the track when they were both leading and battling for the win. So on this occasion, it was this corner, I think, but on this occasion, Demon R backs out of it and realised Conrad was in the better position.
Yeah, and SGP and Steve F1 are closed up a bit more now with them two battling a little bit.
That they have.
So a little bit closer.
I just had a quick look at the pack cam there as well, looking at Fluffy and beyond. Fluffy and beyond. Really, maybe I should do commentary earlier in the day than normal, because I'm proper on it today. Or maybe it's because I was up at 4 o'clock this morning.
You had too many coffees.
You know what? I've only had 2. I've cut down how much coffee I drink dramatically. Demon R's right up the rear wing of Conrad, but SGP's there now as well. And Steve F1 runs a little bit wide. That was the Wasker the Wabbit. Talking about Steve F1, it's kind of like Wasker the Wabbit, cross wheel back Titan. So Demon R having a look. Is he going to look up the inside? No, not. He's going to wait until turn 1, because everyone's got a plan until they get pushed into face.
Yeah, he's going to be attacked by SGP down into turn 1.
Yeah, well, this thing.
Let's have a look how we go. He's gone up the inside.
Yeah, he's not gone for the slipstream, has he? Well, maybe he's playing this patiently as they meow. Demon R, Conrad side by side, but this time the other way round. Let's see if they can both get it slowed down.
Verstappen and Hamilton again.
Yeah.
Take 2.
And they both get through the corner. Conrad got a little bit sideways. That has allowed SGP to close in. I think SGP was just playing the patient game there, watching and thinking, go on, take each other out.
Yeah.
Conrad.
Yeah, definitely.
Conrad's coming back at him. Demon R's going defensive to the inside. Conrad managed to take... Oh, no, he's backed out of it. Not a bad decision on this occasion. But he's got to be careful now of SGP, who is right on him.
Yeah, so you're going to... Trying to attack in the front and defend from behind is really difficult. You could just lose pace away from Demon R, and that's it. But he's broke his slipstream and he's gone.
Absolutely.
He is putting a little bit of a gap now, and through Lesmo too.
Well, this is the thing.
Can Conrad close up again?
Up at the front, if you can break away about 0.8 of a second, you can break the slipstream. In the pack, it's not so easy to do because of the boost. So for Connor, he could really do with staying within that 0.8 of a second. He's just run a little bit wide though into Ascari, and SGP's got a bit of a run on him. But if Demon R is opening up the gap like he is, Twilight, like he is, John. So I've got loads of different things going through my head that I'm thinking, don't say that.
He's run a bit wide here. He's going for the better exit.
Maybe going fast, come out wide. I think that may have compromised
that
him a
gap's
little
got
bit.
a lot bigger.
It has.
Definitely.
Well, this thing, SGP either needs to bump draft him and close the gap, or get past Connor and not let Demon R get away. I mean, there's still a lot of action going on the pack cam, but we must say that it is vital about what happens up at the front regarding the championship, because as it stands as they are now, Demon R would be winning the championship. He would be tied on wins with he'd outright win it on points. So Conrad doing Demon R a bit of a favour here at the moment. But for SGP, if he wants to win the championship, he needs to beat both Demon R and Steve F1. For Steve F1 to win, he needs to basically finish within one position of SGP, basically up at the front, or finish second if Demon R's first. So SGP and Steve F1 cannot afford to let Demon R just run away here.
No, and he has pulled a bit of a gap, and maybe SGP needs to get past Connor as soon as possible, so this gap don't get too much bigger.
Well, that's what I'm thinking as well, because it does look like Demon R is now just edging that gap out. I mean, the qualifying time that Demon R set, look at the pack cam, 2x2, Jimmy and Gary, SRI and Jason
was it? Yeah,
I think Jason's pitted, I think while I was waffling and making jokes, I nearly did a French accent. I was meant to do Italian. How do you go Jason in Italian? Jason, he go for the pit.
Jason, he go for the pit.
See, you could do
Change the tyres.
Actually, the way you're talking there, can I have a kebab please, mate? Because it sounds like you've got pittas. Jason's gone wide on the exit of the final corner. Very easy to do as Gary slides in.
SGP's attacking Connor. It's a 2-in-1.
Can he get it done? Jimmy's attacking SRI as well, or fending him off. SGP
around him.
Yeah, he has. He needs to make sure he gets a good exit now. This now is crucial. This is dangerous for Steve F1. SRI and Jimmy still battling. SGP going defensive. I think Connor's going to get him here, He has. He's ahead.
Yeah. He's head before the corner now.
That he is.
Yeah, and SGP pulls in behind him.
Connor, can he get it slowed down? Yes, he's got it slowed down just in time. Nice bit. I tell you what, I think Dave, SGP, he's trying to have a sneaky look into Lesmo 1. And if you say it to Italian, it sounds like the sexy lady who liked the sexy lady going into Lesbo 2.
And I think Dave the Harp's closing up on these three,
He is, and you've no idea.
He's getting a lot closer.
I don't know why I'm in such a daft mood, but you're right, Dave the Harp really is closing in as Jimmy nearly ran off the track on the exit of the second Lesmo there. SRI manages to get ahead. Conrad sliding into Ascari. You don't want to be doing that too much, because tyre life, the tyres, as far as I'm aware, will do a whole race. If you obviously nail them, it's not going to be very nice. But a bit like we talked last week, John, with Gary, that if you do push the tyres a little bit too much, if you back off a bit, you can bring them back to you. It'll be interesting to see how people get on with their tyres throughout the course of the race. Jason, though, going for an early pit stop. We saw it work for him early on in the season. It's not working for him at the moment, as SGP's got to run on Conrad.
Yeah, here we go, down into turn 1. Yeah, looks like he's got this move done. He's nearly ahead of him and going into the corner.
Can he get it slow? I don't think he can get it slowed down. He's gone a little bit deep. I think Connor thought he'd gone way deep there. I think he thought he may have not have,
He's lost 2 positions there.
That he has. Steve F1.
Steve F1's playing his patron game, isn't he? Just let people do what they want to do. And now he's going to go on the attack.
Yeah, so first opportunity to attack Conrad. It looks like he's going to have a go. I don't think he's going to succeed though. Connor's going to fight it onto the inside. They are going to go side by side through the Dell'Asino. Conrad going for a switchback. This is brilliant racing at the moment. It's absolutely fantastic. I've got to say, Connor is having an absolute beast of a race at the moment. Steve F1 going for the switchback. SGP's got nowhere to go, and Dave the Harp is catching up to them.
Yeah, he's getting really close now. Oh, Steve F1 just giving Connor enough space on the exit, nearly pushing him wide.
I'm just looking at the pack cam as well. Jason has got Rich just ahead of him. I wonder if Jason's driving along with, I got the dick ahead of me.
the little dick.
I got the little blue dick ahead of me. I'm so sorry, Rich. I love you. I do really.
Oh dear.
Oh, Conrad, when did that happen? Conrad's back ahead of Steve F1. I didn't.
Yeah, he went through Nascari. It got at Steve F1 in Nascari, and now Dave the Harp's coming into play.
This is absolutely fun. Where's Demon R?
I don't know.
He's gone.
Is he broken down or is he pitted?
I think he's just bolted. He's already going through turn one. Yeah, so
wow.
Well, these guys obviously having the battle as they are. I mean, on the last lap, Steve F1 did a 153 as they're side by side again through the first corner. Oh, Conrad bit sideways. Oh, I think Steve may have it. I mean, does SGP bump draft Steve F1? Because he needs to beat Steve F1.
Yeah, maybe he just wants him to battle a little bit more. He can sneak through like Steve F1 did the previous lap.
Absolutely.
But he's coming under attack by Dave the Harp.
That he is. I'm just looking on the pack cam as well as Steve F1 tries to... Oh, he nearly got a good exit there. On the pack cam now, we've got SRI, the mad Scotsman, the evil Scotsman going, there was a duck in front of me, and now it's behind me. Oh, and now he's up my rear.
I love it up the rear.
I didn't know SRI was from Newcastle. Steve F1 is so offended with your accent. He's going for an overtake on Conrad. I've got to say, this has been some absolutely phenomenal racing. Side by side they go. Oh, it's so close. And SGP trying to capitalise as well, but nowhere to go. And Dave the Harp has got a real opportunity here.
Yeah, he's showing brilliant pace around this track.
Absolutely. Oh, Steve F1, is he going to have a look up the inside? No, not quite. Takes a tighter entry than Connor.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a faster exit. Maybe he's setting him up for the turn one. Conrad's in the pits.
Ooh, okay. Where he comes out could be crucial. I don't think he's going to come out ahead of the pack. SGP, is he going to try and make a move on Steve F1 straight away? No, he's not. Interesting. Well, maybe. Well, it's a tricky one. Let's put it this way. If SGP wants to win the championship, he needs to beat Demon R. SRI has now got Fluffy next to him, and that's Jason. Oh, a bit of contact, I think. Fluffy, SRI, into Granny's gravel trap. Careful, she bites. It's a bit scratchy down.
Granny's gravel.
But yeah, Gary on the attack. I was just having a look at where. Okay, so Conrad's not in the top 8 at the moment. Jason, who pitted after about 10 minutes, trying to make the move on Gary. There is Conrad. Oh, perhaps just giving SRI a little bit of a lovely tap.
Yeah. He needs to try to get through these really quickly. If they hold him up, it could cost him dearly.
Well, I'm trying to think if any of the rest of these have pitted yet or not. I think we saw Gary dive into the pits earlier, so he may pit again, but probably not for another 5, maybe 10 minutes. So for Connor, if he's expecting that the rest of the leaders are going to pit, any chance of an undercut he's getting now is being hurt by being stuck in the pack. Having a look at the camera in the bottom right corner, SGP gaining on Steve F1, but not really making any attempt to attack by the looks of it. But this is kind of what I was hinting at. For SGP to win the championship, he needs to beat Demon R. at the moment, the only way it looks like that's going to happen is if him and Steve F1 work together to catch up Demon R, or Demon R bins it. On the main screen, though, we've got Twilight coming under pressure from Fluffy and Connor. SGP is going for the move, up into turn 1. Saw it on the pack cam. Yeah, there we go. Makes the move into turn 1. And maybe then clearly not thinking about doing a bit of work in Steve Friends.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe he's like saving his tyre for a lap or two, but now he's thought, no, that's it, I'm going to go past him.
Yeah, Gary's
my tyres are nice and cool.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, that's the thing, if you're following someone, you can cruise a bit and look after your tyres. Steve F1, he'll be wanting to try and retake that place when he can. Gary's coming under a bit of pressure now from Conrad, who, let's see, Conrad's now up to 7th place, so he's quite a way behind. Oh, Steve F1 having a look into the first Lesmo. Side by side, there you go. What a move. What a move. Yeah, we don't mean it's sarcastic.
Get this Lesmo 2 done.
Grande move.
He needs a nice exit there, or otherwise SGP is going to sack him down into a Ascari. Can he hold on?
He might be able to. Dave the Harp's dropping off a little bit at the moment, but I must admit, I think if I was Dave the Harp, or if I was advising Dave the Harp, I would be telling him at the moment, just look after your tyres. If you can get to the end, you've got a great chance of finishing 4th. But even if you struggle a bit on the tyres late on and you finish 5th, then that's still a bloody good result. Okay. So
yeah, brilliant.
SGP dropping away from Steve F1 a little bit. Demon R already crossing the start-finish line. He's pulled out a monster of a gap at the moment on these guys. I mean, some may wonder, as it stands right now, Demon R, if he wins the race, or Rich Blues having a look at Twilight on the pack cam, and actually SGP closing in on Steve F1. Maybe this is what you was on about earlier, saying maybe SGP just looking after his tyres. No, he's not going for it. So maybe he's just looking after his tyres a little bit. And
Conrad coming under a bit of pressure from Jason down into turn 1.
Well, Jason gave him a little bit of a bump draft. Normally,
then he's backed off.
Yeah, I'm going to say normally giving someone a bit of a bump draft down the back straight, usually that's an indicator of either A, I'm not going to attack you, or B, come on, let's get a shift on, because if you don't speed up, I'm overtaking you into the corner. Now, I will admit, though, it is fascinating to see that up at the front, the likes of Demon R, Conrad, Steve F1, SGP have been able to follow each other really, really closely and not sort of lose out too much. And in the pack, although Conrad is now up to 5th place, Jason was right behind him, but I think Jason's tyres are going off a little bit for him, probably because he's heated them up a bit too much. Just looking at Demon R's lap times in the 50s and the 51s, Steve F1's in the high 51s and the 53s. So Demon R, he's gone.
And if you look at the pack as well, they're like 52s, low 52s, and the pack's never going to catch up the front if they're battling like that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's always the way. If you're side by side, you're going to go slower than if you're single file. But side by side is more fun. If you can get 3 wide, that's even better. Although, if you're married, don't attempt that one. Even suggesting it might not go down very well. But
no. In fact, I spoke to Kate the other day about it, but she said no.
Well, I mentioned it to one of my girlfriends once. Fancy a threesome? She goes, "What did you say to me?" It was, "Do you like that tree, son?" No, you didn't. Considering that I just made that up on the spot, that's not bad.
No, it was rubbish.
Well, okay, admittedly, yes, it was, but I don't care. Okay, Conrad has broken away from the pack. If he can keep doing that, he's got a chance, of closing in on Dave the Harp. So where is Dave the Harp at the moment? Dropping off from these two, but
4th.
Yeah, so he's 4th, and he's just in the background there. It's not a massive gap, from Dave to Connor. If Dave can stay out, though, it could be an interesting race towards the end. Fascinating stuff. Oh, that's all right. Trying to make a move on Jimmy. He's gone. Oh, he's there. I think he got reset. Maybe he wasn't.
He's been reset.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't going for the move.
Mr. Sniffles has got reset again.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if he was taking evasive there rather than.
Yeah, maybe it's a good point to do it there. To be honest.
Oh, Jason!
Oh.
Oh, Rich! Oh dear!
Richard.
Oh dear! Oh dear! I don't know what happened
Water
there.
pal.
Oh, you know what? We might have to see if we can listen into some to Rich's team radio.
Rich, what happened there? Shit, there's a corner.
Okay, that's the first time that's ever happened. Okay, looking at Demon Art on at the main camera now. And again, yeah, look, it's 51s. He's consistently in the 51s, and he's in a situation where he doesn't need to push. Steve F1 has done a 50.7. Fluffy, though, he's done a 43.5, probably with fresh tyres and a bit of boost, trying to make the move on Jason into the Parabolica, which I mentioned has got a new name. Do you remember what its new name is?
Parabolica 2?
no, bad effort, no. The thing is,
Pizzeria?
The Quattro Formaggio. You know what? I've completely forgotten what it is myself. It's named after a. That's it. No, it's not that one. Just focus on what's happening on the screen at the moment, and I'll find out for us. Something happening with Fluffy there. Is it Twilight?
Yeah, Jimmy is absolutely shutting the door on Jason there, trying to go up on the inside, but Jimmy just parks it on the corner, and that stops him straight away in his tracks. Wow. Be going absolutely mad. But Fluffy's attacking Jimmy now. Can he? Yeah, he gets it stopped. And yeah, off he goes. And Fluffy showed quite good pace over the last two races. Just a shame he can't practice a little bit more and stop driving around his moped so much, and he might do alright.
That is true. I mean, having said that as well, I mean, to be fair, there's a few drivers, maybe we can talk about it a bit in the G-Spot a little bit later on, but there is a couple of drivers that I do sort of want to give sort of special praise to. SRI, though, at the moment, got a bit of a run on Jason. Jimmy's there as well. Jimmy's having a look. SRI kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, or between a Sweden. I was going to say a Sweden and Scot, but he is the Scot. But yeah, I mean, it's a tricky one, isn't it? You want to plan to overtake someone, but there's a car having a cheeky look at your inside. So do you attempt to defend and accidentally maybe overtake the car ahead? Or yeah, it's a tricky one to do.
Yeah, it is very tricky with a bit of boost as well. It's Jimmy gets on the grass a bit and manages to get it stopped for the Parabolica, and off he goes, and maybe attacks down into turn one. But
into the pits along with Fluffy.
And is that Dave the Harp in the pits?
It is, yes. So Dave the Harp coming out of the pit. He's going to come out a long way back. Oh, where is he going to come out?
Oh, where is he? He's coming out now. Oh no, he's behind everybody.
Yeah, he is, yeah. Twilight trying to make a move on Gary through the first corner. SRI just got a massive tank slapper on. Looks like he's got a bit of an issue. He's heading straight on into the barrier. I wonder if he's suffered from narcolepsy. That is the one where you fall asleep in it.
It is.
That's all right.
It is.
Thank
that one.
God for that.
Maybe he's probably listening to one of your old jokes.
Maybe. No, you know what? I think he may be having a bit of a technical issue there. It's a good job I did get the yes. I think SRI may have just retired from the race. But yeah, if I'd have said the one that's like having sex with dead bodies, that wouldn't have sounded right. Was it necropolsy or something? I can't remember.
I don't know. You tell me. You used to work in a morgue, didn't you?
Get away! Who do you think I am, Vinny Jones?
No, you didn't.
I'm still trying to find the new name for.
I wonder what you were doing.
Yeah.
I bet the viewers can't wait until you find the name of this.
Someone probably already Googled it and gone, it's this in our bed.
Yeah. But here goes David Hart with fresh tyres on. You know, he needs to try to get past these quite quickly. Just giving Twilight a little bit of a bump draft down into the Parabolica. Maybe he's going to attack him down into turn one. He needs to try to get past these two, so he can get back up there and get in his rightful position, really. 4-4-5.
Oh, Rich, I think, has just peeled off into the pit lane. Yes, he has. But yeah, I mean, Dave, okay, is put himself in a tricky position having pitted, but you're right, he's got the fresher tyres, so if he can pick at the right moments, he may be able to get ahead of these guys. But Jason's been trying to do that since the 10th minute, and it's 20 minutes later, and he's still not managed to break away. Conrad did. So I don't know whether Conrad was helped in any way with circumstance, but yeah, Dave though having a look at Jason now, and Dave does like to have an attack down into the Dell'Asino chicane, but Gary having a look on the outside, nearly lost it. That may have just got Dave's attention for a moment and perhaps stopped him from attacking Jason into the corner. But Gary, I don't know if that was luck, judgment or skill to be able to keep facing.
Yeah, he somehow keeps it on the track after going on the grass. And he's done really well there.
I like the way you didn't go, yeah, that was really skillful. You just said, yeah, somehow he's kept it on the track.
Yeah.
Savage as ever. Annoyingly, all the track maps I'm finding is not bringing up the new name of the bloody corner. I'll get it later.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, Dave wiggling. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I think he may have got a little bit of a nudge there by Jason, but he did look like his car was wiggling.
Oh, is Jason waiting?
Well, I think Dave was waiting because there was cars coming. It's possible, that Dave dipped a wheel on the grass there, and that's why his car was wobbling.
I think Dave just pulled over to roll another ciggy.
Well, yeah, that there is that.
Where he's there, he thought, why not?
Yeah, why not? Roll a smoke at this corner. There's pizzas at another corner. I thought Twilight was peeling into the pits then, but he isn't. Just taking a sort of slipstream reduction line.
Yeah, I think he's trying to break the slipstream with these three, just to try and get away a little bit. But just because of the boost, it's just so hard, and they just keep on catching back up.
That is true. I mean, it's a very tricky one because you need to break away a bit down the straight, have a very good turn 1 and 2, and then break away again, and then have because this is the bit. If you don't get the Dell'Asino absolutely bang on, you can't break away because you need to be able to open the gap up. So once you're through Lesmo 2, as these guys going 3 wide, no, Jason thinks better of it. So you need to be able to get onto the back straight with about a second and a half gap. Twilight's probably got about 0.6 of a second at the moment, and the more these guys battle, the more it'll help him. But now they'll start to catch him up, especially if they. Gary turned in a little bit there with Jason. I don't know if he realised that Jason was there. He soon did when he couldn't get to the curb.
Yeah, maybe just thought he wasn't there, thought he wouldn't. Which stupid fool would go for a turn at Lesmo too. There he was.
Who'd attempted overtake in that corner? I don't know. But yeah, so Jason and Gary both off.
I don't know if they just both forgot to brake or just too busy looking at each other there.
Maybe.
And just both drove off the track.
Maybe.
I didn't really see much contact.
Or maybe they were both distracted by a reflection off the gold livery of Twilight. He did have 5 cars behind him. Now there's only 2. It's rear-facing warfare from Twilight by the looks of it. Jimmy, though, I was going to say got a bit of a run, but he hasn't because Fluffy is on him. Fluffy's going to try and get the run here. But see, this is where Twilight may benefit from splitting the slipstream between the 2 drivers. But it looks like Jimmy.
Yeah, and he's giving it Jimmy in the moment, but Jimmy's the one with the fresher tyres, isn't he?
He could well be. He's the one trying to make the move up the inside. Can't quite get it done. I mean, he did kind of get there.
Yeah, and Twilight absolutely shuts the door on him, doesn't he, there?
That was like an automatic door that's got no interference detection. That's going to make no sense to anyone. I mean, like an elevator door that doesn't stop closing when you put your hand in it. But, the kind like you see on a horror movie where like people get stuck wedged in the door.
Yeah,
that's kind of like
one of them sort of doors.
Yeah, one of them sort of doors that don't really exist, and now I'm just talking about nothing. But anyway,
but now Dave Harp's managed to catch back up to these, and hopefully he's picked his time to get past them. And he's obviously got a good pace round here.
Yeah, Jimmy nearly dipped a wheel on the grass there. Dave has dipped a wheel on the grass. Okay, this is where Dave has to be a little bit careful, because if 2 cars are side by side ahead of him, he's now side by side with Fluffy. But yeah, he's been. He's off. He's into the gravel. Actually, you can see it on the pack cam.
Yeah.
It looked like he was trying to be careful.
Yeah, a little bit of dirt on your tyres like that just stays on for the next corner, and he just caught him out a little bit there. He couldn't get it stopped.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe this is the part of the issue that Jason had earlier, where, I mean, let's face it, this track is not the most punishing on tyres. So if you pit and come out, chances are it might take a while for you to warm your tyres up. Conrad's been pumping in some very good lap times, mid-50s.
Yeah, very quick.
Yeah, so pumping in mid-50, that is very consistent as well. So he is closing in, you know. Oh, no, he's not.
Oh, no,
he's not.
You burst him.
So, Connor. Oh, sorry, Fluffy's just tagged
Can he get it going again before Twilight catches up?
Ooh, Jimmy, sideways. Are we surprised?
I think he's got a big enough. Yeah, he's a bit ahead of Twilight still. He's got a big enough gap. He's been pumping in them laps just to get away from Twilight a little bit there.
Yeah.
To make that mistake and get away.
Absolutely. I mean, I was talking about whether the tyres could be sort of cold and then you have an off or two and then the dirty and it takes a bit longer to warm up. Oh, Twilight taking evasive. Fluffy taking no prisoners. Around Rich goes. Dave's off in the gravel again. Unfortunately, through no fault of his own on that occasion. We're having a quick look at Demon R. You know what? This race has gone very, very quickly. We've only got 3.5 minutes to go. The gap between Demon R and Steve F1 is pretty big at the moment. Steve F1 has opened up that gap to SGP. We'll have a chat about what that's going to do to the standings in a moment. Conrad, he was closing in, you know, but that spin, costly for him because he was on a charge. What he needs to try and do now is just keep his head, keep it on the track, because as we were saying, if you dirty your tyres up and you have another off, then he'll get swallowed.
You in the pack. Yeah,
absolutely.
And hopefully, I think he's got a big enough gap now, and he's shown really good pace. So he's had a brilliant race to see if he can hold on to this 4th place.
Absolutely.
Just consolidate that at the moment.
Yeah. Well, someone who isn't consolidating anything is Fluffy and Twilight. Side by side they go.
Yeah.
Go. Side by side they go onto the main street.
Fluffy's got on that inside line.
He has. It's a little dirty.
Picking up a load of dirt on his tyre. Yeah. Can he get it stopped with all that dirt on his tyres?
Well, we'll find out if he remembers to brake. Jimmy's behind him. Oh, Fluffy's on the brakes. Oh, Jimmy, I thought he was going to tag him.
Give him room.
Oh, Dave up the inside of Jimmy there.
Yeah. They both get round there really well.
Yeah, Jason.
Twilight's got a good exit here.
He's got a nice shiny gold exit is what he's got. It's not been bleached, it's been bedazzled.
Oh, but Fluffy's... He's having another attack. Have a look at him. He's trying to get this position.
I think Twilight may have it. Oh no, Fluffy's got the inside of Twilight trying to switch back. Fluffy covers it off.
And here comes Dave.
Well, yeah, Twilight's going to have to be careful of Dave here. Dave may have a look, but Jimmy's having a look up the inside of Dave. Oh, I think Jimmy may have been trying to sort of repay the overtake from turn 1. Absolutely fantastic battle once again in the pack. And Jimmy is trying to get past Dave now on the exit of Lesmo 2. And Jason has caught up. Oh, no, he hasn't. Oh, no.
No.
Jason.
That's at him. Jason's looked at the camera again, and the radar, and he's thinking he's ahead.
Yeah.
He's caught at the back end of that car and spanning round.
Disaster for Jason. As Demon R on the pack cam, looks like we're on board with him. For the final lap of the race it'll be, and what a race it's been for him. Dave Yacht making the move on at Jimmy, or trying to. Dave will probably still think he's got a chance of sort of getting to 5th place here, but he may have had the fresher tyres, but he's in a fight right now. I think who's that? It's Fluffy.
Who's that? Oh, Fluffy on that dirty side again.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really...
Paid off last time.
Well, yeah. The thing is, I don't think he went
Twilight's
that
going
far.
for the inside this time.
That he is. Jimmy.
Yeah, he gets it stopped.
Dave and Jimmy still side by side. I mean, yeah, going where Fluffy did, I suppose it's questionable as to whether it's exceeding track limits. I know at the start of races, you can use that bit because you might have to. Jimmy side by side with Fluffy now. Dave's got nowhere to go. Dave may bump draft Fluffy a little bit, but he's going to have to get it slowed down.
On the final lap.
that we are. Twilight just ahead of Jimmy as we cut to look at Demon R headed towards Ascari. And to be fair, he's been untouchable today. Brilliant qualifying lap. A great battle at the start with Connor and then just ran away. But Steve F1 is in a position that could give him the championship, finishing in second place. SGP, not like he can do in third. On the pack cam, though, we're looking at Twilight and what's behind him. And what is behind him is Fluffy and Jimmy and Rich and Dave and Jason. Oh, Jimmy's off. Jason's off. Disaster for them.
Absolutely gutted for Jimmy. And here comes Jimmy now coming across the line,
and I'm going to
taking the win.
Stop because I've got a lump in my throat. And it's because Steve F1 is going to cross the line in second place. Oh, that's massive. SGP is going to cross the line in third. Fluffy's just given Twilight a bit of a tag at the final corner. Went in a bit hot. So did Rich. Conrod's going to come home.
Fourth.
Yeah, good result for him. Can Twilight hold on?
That fifth position.
He's holding. He's got it.
Does.
And it's ever such a close finish right at the end there. Holy guacamole. Well,
wow, it was a really close finish.
Spanish, isn't it?
I think Jimmy would be a bit disappointed because, he was doing really well. A great race for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so... so I just realised... I heard a couple of beeps as we were doing that and I thought SRI's probably snuck in. Normally he would sneak in and make a noise, but I know that his voice is pretty much gone. But he did sneak in, so stealing my commentary role here. Okay, he's a cross between Arnie and someone else now. Jumping in my grave before I've even died. I think that's Geordie as well, isn't it?
That's a Geordie,
Yeah. Well, like you see, I was doing an impression of you doing an impression of Ray.
Oh, okay.
That's my excuse. Okay, so let's cut to the chase. Demon R, what a win. But because Steve F1 finished in second place, it means that Steve F1 is going to be the champion. He's going to take the title. And
yeah, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and for anyone that wants to, I'll put an image up on the screen actually that explains how it's come to that conclusion. Because with Demon R finishing in first, he's on 151 points. With Steve F1 finishing in second, he is also on 151 points. So they're actually tied for first, but Steve F1 has 3 wins. Demon R now has 3 wins. So it goes back on who has the most second places, and Steve F1 has got 3 and Demon R has only had 2. So Steve F1 takes the championship because he's had more second place finishes, but also go on.
Hannah, mate, you won about third places there.
Well, yeah,
they got both the same second places. On the visual you've given me anyway.
I think you're looking at the wrong one. You're looking at the one before. So you're looking at the one that says as it stands, not the one that says in the end.
Oh, see, there you go.
In the end, as we know it. Twilight didn't see it. It's
no,
the
exactly.
End,
I'll shut up then.
Know it. Yeah. So how many second places have they got?
Oh, I've got it now. I've got it. We're there.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so
correct them and go.
Thank you very much. So yeah, third places. I mean, if it had gone down to third places, yeah, it'd be different. But what is also on that image is something that I do want to mention, which is if we look at these 3 drivers' form over the course of this championship, Steve F1, his finishing positions was 3rd, 2nd, 4th, 1st, 2nd, 1st, 3rd, 1st, 2nd. Decent start.
Yeah, really consistent.
Decent start and improved a bit over the course of the season. SGP started with a 1st, a 1st, a 1st, a 2nd, a 3rd. Absolutely brilliant start to the season. And then unfortunately for him, a few personal issues cropped up. And unfortunately, it has resulted in him not quite being his usual self over the last 4 or 5 weeks, and it's ended up being with him finishing 4th, 4th, 4th and 3rd. Many people thinking that had the personal things not cropped up, SGP probably would have ran away with the championship.
Yeah, definitely. And you noticed like last week because it was like his head wasn't. You can tell his head wasn't in the game properly, and he's like,
yeah.
So with all the best, and on to next season, I think he'll.
Yeah, exactly. All the best, and as Twilight would say, unlucky.
Yeah, really disappointed for you.
Really unlucky. I mean, okay, I made that as a joke, but yeah. But yeah, it has played a big factor on his championship. But also, if we look at Demonar's form, race 1 finished 5th, 3rd, then went on a bit of a run, really, of 1st, 2nd, 1st, and it can't be a coincidence that 5 weeks ago he stopped drinking alcohol. Not like all liquids together, but stopped drinking alcohol. Because to be fair, once I stopped drinking alcohol, I have actually been driving better. And it's not that I've been practicing more. I mean, normally I'd speak in the third person, but yeah, it's me, for anyone who hasn't clocked onto that one yet. Not drinking has made a massive difference to not just how my racing has been going, but everything really. And I've had no temptation to as Twilight sat there sipping a whiskey.
No.
Not yet.
I'm on the orange juice, I think.
All right. Well, I'm on the blackcurrant juice. But yeah, so I've had no interest in drinking, but it has improved a lot of things for me. So it kind of, for me, when things sort of went a bit tits up for SGP, they went the opposite way for me. And unlucky for both me and SGP is that Steve F1 was just his typical bloody consistent self all the way through the championship, which is really, really annoying.
Yeah.
But it's not.
You never see him dropping down past 50, Steve F1, unless he's had never have I known.
It's been a long time since anything like that has happened, that's for certain. Now, whether it's the championship styles or whatever, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens as we progress forward. But, I mean, I know I'm talking about the sort of top 3 at the moment, and I do want to talk a little bit about everybody else. But we have had a very special set of circumstances here where we've never had it where at the end of the championship 2 drivers are on the same amount of points. And
no, never.
And even when there's been the possibility it could happen, there's tended to be one has had more wins than another. But for us to have the same amount of points, the same amount of wins, but it's not just the 2 that got the same amount of wins. There's 3 drivers with the same amount of wins. And for it to go down to second place is absolutely fantastic. I personally think that just goes to show how improved SGP and Steve F1 have really been over the course of the last few championships. But as we now go on to talk about the other drivers, so I'll pop up a winner's picture for Demonar. Well done, you can get rid of that. Put the champion's picture for Steve F1 up while we talk about everybody else, because if SGP and Steve F1 have improved a lot over the last couple of seasons, then holy cow, what could Connor do?
Yeah.
He took it to Demonar today, he took it to Steve F1 and SGP, and he may be kicking himself a little bit having pitted. He perhaps didn't realise he could have gone on, perhaps didn't realise the pit stop time, whatever it may be. It hasn't worked out for him there, but you can't fault his pace and ability in the way that we've seen him drive again.
No, he's got really good ability. I mean, this is the thing, you get to practice on that Monday night, and people have different circumstances. That's why you don't get, and it makes a big difference because he'd have known not to pit if they practice Monday. But people work and that, so you can't. So that's why we don't put pressure on people in this league. And
absolutely. I mean,
you can turn up on a Thursday and you can be really competitive, as Connor's shown.
Yeah.
As a good driver.
Yeah, I mean, I would also point out that I know, for me personally, I haven't been going on and practicing any other times. I've been doing the Monday and that's it. I think the Steves have as well. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is we don't want to be spending all our time practicing, but also I view it as a little bit like it may be unfair on those who can't get on to do even a 40-minute practice on a Monday. If they can't get on to do that, but I've done 5 hours of practice, I'm sorry, but you ain't got a chance. Your only chance is if I've been it. If I've had 5 hours practice and you've had none, you ain't got a chance. But if I've only had a 40-minute practice and I haven't worked everything out, then that's where just that little bit of boost can level the playing field for people on occasion. So, yeah, I mean, for Connor, he's not been able to race every race this season. He's had an absolutely brilliant one to end on. Twilight finished in 5th place in that race. You know what? It's been a very difficult season, I think, for you, Twilight, for a number of reasons, which I will touch on a little bit in a moment. But it's not been a car that suited you from the beginning, really, is it?
No, not really. Not really. Even when we were practicing it before the pre-seasons, I just knew I wouldn't be quick in this car. I don't know, other people are a lot better in these sort of cars, so to puts that playing field back up towards your guys' direction. I'm thinking better in like normal cars, not race cars, and like Dodgers mainly.
But I mean, again, it's fair to say that obviously you are the reigning champion until this is confirmed that Steve F1 is the champion here. I might have to find a penalty for him. But you are a reigning champion, but I can imagine it has been quite tough on occasion to go from winning the championship in the way that you did to then struggling with this car. It does have the possibility of denting your confidence and basically pissing you off.
You could say that. Yeah, when you're a bit of a shocker, really. You like pulling big gaps, and then 1 minute, the next you're thinking, what's going on here? I'm like 2 seconds off the pace here. You know, have I done all the settings right, or what's going on?
Yeah.
But it's not. You know, and you're like, no, I'm not going to bother anymore. And there's few races around the season I'm thinking, hang a minute, why am I not even bother?
Yeah.
What's the point? But you obviously got to carry on, and it's proved. Like in the end of the season, I've sort of, got back up, and I think I finished 5th in the last 2 races. So, showing a bit more time to practice as well, and then the cars started to get used to it a bit more.
Yeah.
So it does make a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, I know this championship's been a bit difficult for you. What I would say is take it all as experience and look forward to what's coming in the near future, because, well, to be honest, I thought this car would suit you, and I was clearly very wrong on that, so I'm not going to say that the next 3 will suit you, because I could be wrong on that.
Stop saying stuff.
Yeah. But what I will say...
It's like you said to me before, like when practicing tracks, even if you hate them, you just got to carry on with it, because you'll just it's just practice, and it's for future seasons. You'll come back to a car like this, and I'll be a lot better in it.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I will learn from this.
Absolutely. That's the best thing we can all do. Okay, 6th place, Fluffy. You know, considering, you mentioned it a few times, considering he doesn't get to practice, he's had a bloody good season.
Yeah, and I think he missed quite a few races due to his moped riding.
Yeah.
So, he's done really well.
Yeah, he has. I mean, I don't really know what else to say to him. I know he's been enjoying his racing a bit more. He's definitely had some good results. He's had a couple of really bad last laps over the course of this championship, if we think back to Le Mans. But that can happen. But no, I've got to say, if Fluffy can keep trying to improve, then things will only get better for him. Dave Hart finished in 7th place in that race. I'm wondering if in hindsight he's kicking himself and thinking, I should have stayed out. I didn't get to see what his tyres were like, or whether it was a case of, no, he had to pit. Because I think we had it earlier in the season. I think it was Le Mans again, actually. where he wanted to pit, but I think he was convinced. People said to him, no, stay out, and he was able to get to the end and finish in the position he was in.
I think he'd be really disappointed with that 7th. He shows really good pace round here. And I think he would just said, I wish I stayed out. Because you could see even Conrad made a mistake halfway around them last 2 laps.
Yeah.
He was still 2-3 seconds away from the pack.
Yeah.
So,
that's the thing. I was thinking, Conrad didn't quite get that close to SGP, so would Dave have been able to stay ahead of Conrad? Possibly, but again, it all depends on his tyres. At the end of the day, he's the one that's driving it. Dave, though, for the first half of that race, until he pitted, was having an absolute stormer. He, like you said, he showed his pace when he was able to catch the gap back up to 2nd, 3rd and 4th and really start putting the pressure on. That's one of those situations where I think if I was in his position where I'm concerned about the tyres, there's no harm in following the likes of Steve F1 and SGP and thinking, right, I'm not going to attack you. I'm just going to sit here as close as I can and let's see how far we can go. Maybe that's what he tried to do and the tyres weren't liking it. But because at the end, sometimes, you can drive in very different ways. We'll actually talk about that in the G-Spot in a moment if I remember. You can drive in very different ways and it can cause issues. But hopefully Dave will have a good season in the...
Expo, is it first?
Expo, yep, that's the one. Okay, Jimmy finished in 8th place. He's had a tough season, missed a few races, but he's actually had some really good races and good results when he's been there.
He's showing really good pace, isn't he? And racecraft as well. I must say, it's like a different person. Yeah, it is. It's just brilliant.
Yeah. Okay, we'll be done in a minute. Okay. Jason, I think unfortunately Jason made a mistake pitting after 10 minutes in this one. It's something he's done over the course of the championship and it's really worked for him. At this race, it didn't work for him. Once he pitted and got in the pack, he was stuck. He's had a really tough race from then in. But as far as season goes, he's had a really, really good season once again. He's been up there at the front, fighting for the chances of wins. Difficult on occasion when he's had a bit of lag. But, has improved quite a lot, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's definitely shown really good pace on a few tracks. And it's just that little bit of luck in it. He pitted early and just trying to break away from that pack, from that little bit of boost you get. He just couldn't do it today, but the future's looking bright for him, really.
Formula Gary finished in 10th place, and to be honest, I want to give a big shout out to Gary. Since he had his record penalty points, he has worked really hard in trying to keep things clean and tidy. It's not always easy, but he's been driving so much better since his massive penalty that I think he deserves to be praised for that. Because he was on minus a lot of points after the first race of the season, I think it was, or the second race. So he was on a big minus. He's ended up really with a big positive points, and he's been unfortunate to not have some better finishes to races because he's been in some good positions, like at Brands Hatch. I think he was sort of in the mix for that 6th, 7th, 8th, but unfortunately dipped a wheel on the last lap and went off. So I think that happened a couple of times, and unfortunately that can happen. Yeah. But
you can. You've got to just ride your luck a bit, and it will come around.
Yeah.
And it will come good for Gary. He's definitely showing good pace.
Yeah.
And just them last minute, I've seen him last lap incidents, and he's way ahead. And just that, I bet it's so frustrating. He could have quitted many times, being on minus points as well.
Yeah.
But he's done really well to keep his nose clean and keep going, really.
Yep, that he has. Rich Blues finished in 12th place. Again, Rich has missed a couple of races over the course of this championship, but once again, Rich has shown massive improvements from previous championships. I think that's probably one of the biggest takeaways from this season is that everybody has been making big improvements, except Twilight. I'm joking. But no, I mean, everybody has been making big improvements, though, and it really is good to see. So, I mean, Rich has finished in 8th place God knows how many times. I think he may have had a season best finish at one point. I'll probably be wrong with that, but he's had a very good season, to be honest.
Yeah, and definitely I like seeing Rich is always battling for people now.
Exactly.
And before, he used to just back off, but now he's like, I'm having some here, and as well with with Demon R and SGP and Steve F1, he's doing the same, so that's good to see.
Yeah,
got to go for the moves, haven't you? When they're open or when you think they're right. So just because they are. Yeah, so it's good racing from Rich, and I had a good battle with him today.
Yeah.
During this race.
I mean, it's like, say, in previous seasons, I think he was taking his time to get up to speed, was kind of trying to stay out of people's way and not cause problems. And as he's improved and he's got faster and he's realised, okay, I can hang around with some of these guys, and not just that, he can legitimately go for moves. Like I say, it will mean that he can enjoy his racing a lot more as well. And as you said, when he's got some of the leading drivers, the high scoring points drivers, the faster drivers, however you want to term it, in and around him, he's not afraid to really race them. Obviously, it's different if it's in a blue flag situation, but no, I mean, as frustrated as it could be in the heat of the moment, I really do like everybody battling for their position to a point. So, yeah, I mean, if you're in a blue flag situation, you shouldn't be battling anyone. But if someone has pitted and come out behind you and caught you up, you've got every right to try and keep your position.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, moving on quickly to SRI. Well, he has had one hell of a tough season, especially towards the end, having his flu booster jab, and he's now Mr. Sniffly Cough. He's been very unwell, which is why he's not been on the commentary. Also, I mean, he barely made it to this race, and he did have I think his wheel disconnected when he retired from the race. So, unfortunate.
I think he needs a new wheel. Someone said to me.
I think, you know what, I think Kirsty, if you're not listening, listen there. I think Ray needs a new wheel. He's been
for Christmas as well, coming up soon. You never know. You
know what? That's not a bad idea. Hey, you got Black Friday deals on at the moment as well, some for a few days. So I mean,
I've seen them phonetics.
Yeah,
what are they called?
Also, Jimmy, I believe he's still racing on a controller, and maybe he should be got a wheel by his girlfriend Phil partner for Christmas. Also, Bunsel's partner. Get him a wheel, but also get him a child's cage. You know, like you get stair gates for kids. You can get them like for living room, like a fire guard and stuff like that. Get one of them.
To keep him back while he's racing.
Keep the kids back while he's racing. Yeah. But yeah.
And Hayes got one of them is to keep the cutters out, hasn't he?
Yeah. It's like you don't need to lock me up. I've done it myself. But to be fair, I mean, Hayes another one who, to be honest, I think if he was able to transition to a wheel, it would help him massively.
And definitely, because remember that race, he was like holding up, he was defending for his life and holding like Demon R on that pitted, and it was just brilliant.
Brazil,
brilliant to see. Yeah, that was absolutely brilliant race by him. He did nothing wrong.
Yeah,
and so massive improvement by him as well. So.
I mean, he's found himself in a few scrapes this season. Everybody has at some point, but he has been
not just probably racing there in Hay.
No, that is true. He's definitely had an improvement on his season. He's another one who, over the course of the last couple of seasons, has kind of been trying to sort of stay out of people's way a little bit. Whereas now he's been getting a little bit more confident, and it is good to see. And he is trying to do things fairly. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So Kate's knocking on your door.
Someone knock on my door?
Your door, yeah. Unless it's you knocking.
That's not be.
No
one there.
All right. So Hay is...
Kate's away.
So for the other drivers that were not in this race today, Mitch, unfortunately, has been unable to race quite a few times this season, and I feel for him because sometimes you just want to chill out and play your games, and if you're too tired, too busy, it can be frustrating. And on occasion, I think even if there'd have been the possibility that he could jump on, he may have been tempted not to, perhaps not wanting to risk messing things up for other people. But I would always say, get on if you can. But because Mitch is a really good driver, another one who could do with a wheel. Sister, get onto the parents, get him a wheel, then he'll drive. And then she can have a go on and show him how it's done. Tough one for Mitch. Art Powell, he broke his shoulder. He's still out of action at the moment, and massively unfortunate for him. Been really tough for him because he was really starting to get into the racing in this season, and then that injury is just totally put a scupper to everything, not just his gaming. It has been everything. So very tough one for him. I think he's hoping to try and do a few laps in the Arc, but it'll have to see how he gets on with driving one-handed and without gears. Been a tough one. And who else have I missed?
We've got Tyler, but he obviously just moved, didn't he? So
he's also had a bit of a difficult personal time, and like I say, moving house and never easy. Always a lot going on there. We're looking at new drivers, aren't we? Well, there are a couple of drivers that have shown interested in joining, and unfortunately, because we've not been on practicing a lot, they've not really been able to join us practicing. Obviously, Mondays is when we do practice, and I do think the admins have been trying to get online a little bit more often, but it's just unfortunate that the way things are gone at the moment, personal lives get in the way a little bit, with people being ill, and having family to deal with and stuff like that. It's just the way it goes. Now, there was one more driver that we hadn't mentioned, and I'm kind of glad that we'd not mentioned him till now, because for me, he probably needs the biggest congratulations than all of them, and that's Bunzel. And the reason that I say I think it is the biggest congratulations is because if people just go on what he says in the chats, then and they take him from his word in there, you'd misunderstand Bunzel. I know from talking to him that this championship, he was determined to get to the end of it without receiving a penalty. He was determined to get to the end of it with as few amount of incidents as possible. Some will have happened, that's part of racing, but doing the right things to make sure he doesn't get penalties. And to be honest, he's had some of his best finishes. He was, I think, 7th in the standings, and he has, I think, had his best championship finish. He's had some really good races, and he's not made every race.
No, he's been away a little bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, but I do think he has. It's one of those where, see, he jokes about like crashing into people and all this different kind of stuff, but the truth is he has been taking it very seriously, that he doesn't want to be pissing off other people that he's racing with, because he enjoys racing with us lot. He likes having a laugh with us lot. And when he has accidents, they are genuine accidents. And I didn't want to say it before the end of this race in case anything happened at any point in the season. But yeah, I just want to say well done to Bunzel on that one, because he has had a really good season this time around. Now, if I am mistaken and he has had a penalty, then I apologise. I know he was trying to get to do it without any. So, even though he's joked throughout the season of, what, am I not on the stewards report? He's actually quite happy that he's not been on the stewards reports.
Oh yeah, he's done absolutely brilliant, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, got a lot of respect for Bunzel. And his granddad and that for being exam, yeah.
That very true. Now, we've kind of waffled on, or at least I have, for about 12 bloody minutes now, about the drivers there. But it is the end of the season, so I'm going to quickly go into the special feature we have now, which is the G-Spot. I can't do it like Ray does. The G-Spot.
The G-Spot.
Fuck it out, there you go. Yeah, you've been hiding that one. Fuck it hell.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Jesus. Right, I'll use that on the video. Okay, so I'm not planning on talking for too long on the G-Spot with this one. Now, one of the reasons for that is I haven't actually looked if there's been anything reported from this race that we could sort of look into, talk about. I can't really remember much about the last race. There was something that I said during this race that I'd mentioned. I think it was about Jimmy and Dave, where there were 2x2 going into the first chicane. I don't know if Jimmy didn't see that Dave had snuck there or not, I don't know. But I suppose one of the things that I would perhaps talk about is perspective. And I'm sure this is something you've experienced, and I know I have, and I've talked to other drivers about it. And a person's perspective of what they see and what they felt happened at the time of something happening isn't always exactly what is or has happened. So,
yeah.
For example, I know I spent a bit of time the other day with one of the drivers talking to them about a race at the Nürburgring where they'd attempted a few overtakes that were from, to be honest, too far back. And not fully in control of the car. And I went through those with them, not to tell them off or anything, it was more to just educate them of, right, as if I was to look at it as a steward, I look at this point and go, you are already too far behind to even attempt an overtake, but you have attempted the overtake, so once you're doing that, what is it you then need to be doing? And number one is you need to be fully in control of your car, and number two is you need to be hugging the apex. And if you aren't doing both of those two things and you're sliding across the track and making contact with another car, then you're not fairly attempting overtakes. So we went through that because and one of the things by doing that was, given the view that they used, the perspective of what they experienced compared to the perspective of what the person they were attempting to overtake experienced was very different. So from that driver's view, you'd barely know there'd be any contact between the cars. But from the other driver's perspective, it's very much, he's come from way too far back, and then there is a hit, and he's pushed me wide. So they're feeling all of the effects of it. So to them, it feels much more than it really was, but there was still enough that would warrant someone going, hang on a minute, that's a bit unfair. So perspective is a big thing for certain.
It's like maybe turn one this race, we saw Steve F1 getting nudged and nudging Demon R, nearly getting reset Demon R. Imagine that. in turn one, maybe he's like, what?
Well, yeah.
Steve F1's just gone into the back of me there.
Exactly.
But Steve F1's probably been hit by someone else, and someone else is probably like something else behind them. You don't know.
Absolutely.
You just need to be aware of that and just try not to, have a go at people during the race.
Yeah, I mean,
Out.
it is frustrating. I mean, had D1R been reset at the start there, yes, he would have been pissed. Now, would Steve F1 have waited for him? I don't know. Would he have had to have waited for him? No. Because in looking at it, Steve F1 was nudged into D1R, so it's not Steve F1's fault. Now, he may have waited for him, just thinking out of simple fairness, but I mean, it's one of those things. If D1R had reacted, going, "Fucking hell, what are you doing?" And then Steve F1 goes, "Oh, I got hit." It's like, okay, well, one person's now been angry. Now the other one is angry and defensive. And although the first one should go, "Oh, all right, mate, okay, no worries," that's probably not going to happen because they've already started off with, "What the fuck are you doing?" And that's never a good way to go about it. It actually brings me on to something from Brands Hatch, actually. Brands Hatch was the last race. Yes.
Yeah.
So at Brands Hatch, I know there was a few reports. I know I said I couldn't remember anything about the race. I have now. There was a few reports put in on that race where, interestingly, it was between Gary and Hay. And from Gary's view, it looked and felt like he was getting hit quite a bit and too aggressively by Hay. Now, I think on one of the occasions, it wasn't actually Hay that had made contact with him, but it was if you factored in, okay, the time it takes for someone to be hit, then look in the mirror and work out who it was that hit them, the car that actually had hit him had appeared, hit him, disappeared. Gary could have looked and then thought it was the car that's right behind him, but it wasn't them. It was somebody else. Yeah. So there's a lot of things like that can happen, and I mean, I'm not saying that no one should ever lose their temper, because unfortunately it will happen at times. But what I would always, yes, by all means be annoyed, but just be mindful of what you say, because if you say something you might regret or is completely wrong, you'll be annoyed about it. Right, okay.
Who was that?
I don't know.
What's this, sir? We can't get him in for the championship talk, but he comes 2 weeks in a row, steal my bloody grave.
He's got to hand over his trophy, hasn't he?
Yeah, I'm handing it over, but he's not here, is he, to give it to?
That's a thing Kate's never heard.
Well, we'll have to tell people who this is, SRI. His voice is getting back to normal.
It is,
fair enough.
I just wanted to come in and wind him up about stealing my grave, but I'll catch you later. Take care.
It doesn't sound like you're deep-throating Barry White today.
I actually thought you had a woman in your house there, Dave.
No, it's. I think it was Kirsty in the background. I'm guessing.
Bye.
See you in a bit.
Yeah.
So I generally can't think if there was anything else I was going to mention on the G spot this week, to be honest. But because to be fair, I think over the course of the season there have been big improvements. I suppose actually one thing that perhaps might need addressing is in this championship there have been probably 2 or 3 races where the numbers of drivers have been like 10 or 11. It's just unfortunate. This time of year, the timing of everything in the world, that it's happened on occasion where some drivers have not been able to make it for numbers of weeks, or it's been different drivers each week. But
yeah, you got COVID, haven't you? Just people maybe people didn't like the car as much as you think. You don't know. But just to persevere, really.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I do know that I believe the admins did reach out, or have reached out to certain people at times if they've sort of had continued non-attendance, sort of just checking in, like is it anything to do with the format? Is it the car? Is it anything to do with other people? Blah blah blah. And I'm pretty much sure in every occasion it's been no, it's not. It's nothing to do with the car. It's just personal life getting in the way at the minute. And unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do about that. Now, what I would say is, I mean, in DGT League, it's not like we go advertising, join us, because, to be honest, we're a group of people that have become friends, and we're quite happy with that group. But every now and again, people may show interest in joining, and through experience, we know to give them a bit of time to see if they blend in, see if they get on with how DGT does things, see if they get on with the other drivers. Because let's face it, if anyone comes in being a bit of a tool, they'll soon find themselves being kicked out of the toolbox. So it's one of those things. I suppose it protects everybody. It protects the new person and the current people, if we take our time integrating new people into the league.
Yeah, you definitely need to take your time, don't you? Because it's a very different league to what I've ever raced in, and different sort of style and different format. So you either like it or you don't.
Absolutely.
So you need to, don't want people to start then just to disappear and wreck other people's races.
Yep.
We need to have like a certain type of person, and I think all the guys we got here are really good people, really.
Definitely.
Apart from that one who was on commentary about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean, we might do stupid things at times, but yeah, to be fair, they are a decent group of people. Okay, I think we'll just about wrap that up there for the waffling, because we waffled quite some time. What I will say is, Twilight, reigning champion. I know it's been a tough one for you, but thank you for sticking it out. And thank you for joining us on the commentary once again. It is very much appreciated. Yeah,
no worries. I quite enjoy it, actually. I'm getting quite used to it, so hopefully
it's not bad when you're up
enjoy
to It's not too bad when you're up to time on the video, isn't it?
Yeah, it does help.
It does help. Okay, what I will mention is obviously that is the last race of this championship. The Arc is next Thursday. To be honest, I'm not planning on recording that. I'm doing a video on that. I may have to talk to all the guys about that because it's not like we're doing it as a championship event as such. So, yeah, I would say don't expect something next week.
Yeah.
After that,
you need a bit of a break, don't you?
Absolutely. Well, after that, we're going to be having a couple of weeks of just doing random races over the Christmas period, and then the new triple header Open Wheel Academy Trio Series, which starts with the Expo for 9 races, then the Formula F1500 for 9 races, and then finishing with the Super Formula for 9 races. Wow. The tracks have not been announced yet. They pretty much, for the most part, I think have been sorted out. So what I would say is, folks, get ready to have some fun in the Expo and make sure we enjoy Christmas. So Twilight, once again, thank you very much for joining us on commentary.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. And let's check out the confirmed race result and the championship standings. So for the last time in the La Coppa Dell'Asino Rampante, let's have a look at the confirmed race result. Demon R taking the victory, the maximum 20 points. Steve F1 finishing in second place on 17. SGP finished in third with Conrad in fourth. Twilight finishing in fifth place, a good result for him. Fluffy finished in sixth with Dave the Harp seventh. Jimmy in eighth. Jason in ninth, unfortunately with a -3 point penalty. There was kind of a bit of an odd incident, an unusual incident, shall I say, and information of that is on the Facebook page. So if you haven't seen that yet, Jason, go and check it out. It might be worth a read. Nothing nasty though, nothing bad. Formula Gary finished in 10th place, with Rich Blues in 11th, and unfortunately SRI with the DNF after having technical issues with his wheel. Kirsty, he wants a new one, that brand new one they've just brought out, the GT, that's good for the PS4, PS5 and PC. It's a direct drive wheel, costs a lot of money, but you know, he's actually, I don't think he is worth it. I'd save the money, to be honest. Make him use a pad. both personally and on the game. But yeah, no. Unfortunate for SRI in this last race of the championship. And confirming the championship standings after 9 races, we've got Steve F1 and Demon R tied at the top on 151 points. But as I mentioned, Steve F1 will take the victory. The championship on a count back of most wins, which was tied on 3 with Demon R and SGP. So it went to most second places between Steve F1 and Demon R, and it was Steve F1 that had more second places. So congratulations to him, now a 4-time champion in the DGT League. Third place, SGP, has had a tough end to the season. To be honest, this is probably one that he deserved, but it just wasn't to be. Jason, a brilliant result for him, finishing in 4th place on 102 points. Manages to stay ahead of Fluffy in 6th on 93. 5th on 93. Dave is 6th on 80 points. Twilight and Conrad jump up above Bunsel, with Bunsel unable to race today. So Twilight now on 59, Conrad on 58. Bunsel and Rich Blues both tied on 50 points. In 9th place. And then we've got SRI, who drops down to 11th on 43. Jimmy moves up to 12th on 39. And then we've got Formula Gary in 13th on 38 points. And just think, if he had not got that big penalty early on, add 12 points onto his score, it'd have been tied with Bunsel and Rich Blues. So, to be fair, Gary, as I mentioned, has had a fantastic recovery since that penalty. He's done ever so well to score that amount of points. Hay drops down to 14th on 30 points, unable to race today. And Art Powell, as we mentioned, is injured, so 15th for him on 29 points. Mitch, unfortunately unable to race, 16th for him on 25 points, and then Tyler in 17th with his one reserve drive that he did on 10 points. Okay, folks, our next event is the Arc, which there's a good chance is going to be a private event. There may not be a video for it, but if that changes, we'll let you know. Probably won't let you know until the day that we put the video out. So yeah, you'll have to keep an eye out for that one. After that, our next proper events are going to be in January. That'll start with the Expo Championship. It's a bugger to put a livery on, but it's a great fun car to drive. So I just want to quickly say thank you to all of the drivers for taking part. You are what makes it what it is. And although we might argue at times, we do all kind of like each other. But no, we do appreciate all the time the drivers put in. Also, thank you to the admins for their time, effort, their patience on occasion. But yeah, again, without drivers you don't have a league, without admins you don't have a league, so thank you very much to them. I will quickly say thank you to myself for doing the videos, but yeah, I don't really do it for the thanks. I do it because I like to talk, if you haven't noticed. Also, you may realise I didn't do a bad joke, or at least a written down bad joke this week, and that's because I'm saving them for Ray when he comes back. Okay, folks, thank you very much finally to everybody that's watched, listened, whether you've liked it or not. We just like the fact that people might find it interesting. So thank you very much. So hit like, subscribe, hit that notifications bell, and we'll see you all again soon.